Three, two, one, here we go. Rainman's Take podcast. Observations on the world we live in. My take on current events and other topics of interest. Also interviews with some really cool people. So let's get the conversation going. Hey everybody, it's the Rain Man today with a raindrop for you with my take on what's going on in Afghanistan. But before I get to that, we've got some other great interviews lined up for you. So if you like what we're doing over here at Rain Man's Take, please hit the like button and subscribe so that we can keep on bringing great content, in-depth information about subjects that are of interest to me that I'm sure are of interest to you as well. So what I want to talk about today. Obviously, what's going on over the last couple of weeks in Afghanistan is just an absolute tragedy unfolding right before our very eyes, punctuated today by the death of 11 Marines and one Navy corpsman after several suicide bombing events took place in and around the gates getting into the airport at Kabul. So what do I want to, what's the primary point of today's raindrop? So what I wanted to touch on today is something that I've been harping on pretty much the entire time that I've been doing Rain Man's Take, and that is the idea of if you're just getting your news and your information from one source, then you are either uninformed or misinformed. And I've always preached to try to get as much information as possible about a certain event, and then from there make your decision based on all the information before you. And to use what's going on in Afghanistan right now is a perfect example of that. My personal opinion is, if you still think the administration, the current administration, is telling you the truth, and if you still think that the mainstream media sycophants who are propping up this administration, if you still think that both of those sources are giving us the truth, then I think at this point, you are part of the problem. And I know most of my listeners at Rain Man's Take feel the same way as I do, are very interested in learning as much as they can about things. So I'm referring to the people that only take their news from one source. And the reason why I bring that up, watching the administration spokespeople over the last couple of weeks try to spin what's going on in Afghanistan is a classic example of what I'm talking about. And it really came to the forefront yesterday when those two congressmen did a surprise visit over to Kabul airport to better understand exactly what was going on the ground. So you had Democratic Representative Seth Moulton from Massachusetts and Republican Representative Peter Mayor from Michigan clandestinely took a flight over there to better understand exactly what was going on the ground. And essentially what that tells you everything you need to know. Not even most of the people in Congress in DC believe what they're being told by the administration spokespeople. So they go over and just send back heart-wrenching intel from Afghanistan of actually what is happening over there. And it was very interesting to watch the reaction of the White House, the State Department, the Pentagon, and Congress. Watch the reaction to these two representatives when they went over there and then basically told the world what they're seeing. And essentially, Nancy Pelosi, to use that as an example, was pissed off that they were there. She said because they couldn't guarantee their safety over there. It was a security threat to lawmakers, etc., which is complete crap. My personal belief is that they are all pissed off at these two guys because they just single-handedly blew up the narrative that's been spun over the last 2 weeks of how things are going over there. And if you watch the spokespeople talk, when I say we're not being told the truth, it's one of one of two things. It's either they're leaving out important facts, they're spinning words to make it appear to be something that it's actually not, or in some cases, they're flat out lying. And these guys, with their trip over there, basically just blew the whole narrative out of the water. And I think that brings up another feeling that I have regarding this, and that is, my personal opinion is 90% of the people in Congress right now need to go, and that's across the board, both sides of the aisle. I may be just saying this because I'm a former military officer. I am of the belief that it should almost be a prerequisite to run for Congress, that you actually have military service. And why do I say that? Because that's actually service to your country. People in Congress right now call themselves public servants, but in my view, they're almost the exact opposite of that. The people that you see currently in Congress, or the vast majority of them, I believe are there for themselves and to keep power for their particular party. And why do I say that? Why do I say that these aren't public servants and they're actually not looking out for us? They're not giving us the straight scoop on what's going on in Afghanistan. That's about as basic as it can get. If they really wanted to be a service to the American people, they would let them know exactly what's going on the ground instead of trying to spin it for some political gain. And so, in keeping with my idea of you've got to find multiple sources of information to figure out what's going on, and what I would highly recommend is following Dan Crenshaw, who's a Republican congressman from Texas. Follow him on Instagram. Over the last couple of weeks, he's been unbelievable. He's a former Navy SEAL, lost his eye in combat in Afghanistan. And over the last couple of weeks, he's obviously in touch with people on the ground in Afghanistan who are actually giving him the straight scoop of what's going on. And Dan's been passing that on via Instagram and basically calling out the lies, the falsehoods, the omissions that we're seeing on these daily briefings about Afghanistan when we do get them. So Dan has been great. Tom Cotton has been great. And as you can see, again, going back to my point about military service, Tom Cotton, Senator Cotton, was an Army infantry commander as well. He fought both in Iraq and Afghanistan. And so right now you are seeing really a kind of a separation of the people that are actually really trying to solve the problem and the people who are promoting the narrative to continue to make political points on this devastating situation over there in Afghanistan. And to make matters worse, of course, Congress just went away on their recess. So in closing, I think my main point for this quick raindrop was it is now more important than ever to figure out really what is going on. And that means you got to do a little bit more research to really understand what all the facts are, because it's apparent to me that this current administration and their cabinet members are not doing that. And they're more worried about the political ramifications of this than actually trying to help the situation over there, which has deteriorated to the point of almost complete chaos. And one thing I did want to finish off with, and there's only one of two explanations I feel about what's going on over there. One is it's either evidence that our current administration is completely inadequate and not up for the job, and that includes all the cabinet level members, or there is something more nefarious and there's some entity out there that actually wants this to happen and is actually allowing it to happen. And in both cases, in my view, both are unacceptable. So we'll continue to watch this unfold. I will be trying to gather as much information as I can from as many sources as I can, and I highly recommend you do as well. And just make it a point from here on out, when you watch television, you watch some spokesperson for the current administration tell you something, take it with a large grain of salt. So That's it. That's all I wanted to get off my chest today. This is the Rain Man. Again, hit the like button and subscribe if you like what we're doing over here at Rain Man's Take. We'll have great interviews lined up for you over the next couple of weeks, so please tune in. And if you are in the military, especially over there right now, if you're in the military, the police departments, fire departments, or first responders, if that's you out there, thank you for your service. Stay safe, and thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Rain Man's Take, observations on the world we live in. If you like the content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. You can also follow Rain Man's Take on Instagram at Rain Man's Take. Also, check out our website at www.rainmanstakepodcast.com and send your comments to rainmanstake@gmail.com. Keep an eye out for future podcasts, which will be coming out every Thursday at 5 p.m. West Coast time.